I am welcome to the Leadership Speak. I am your Sergeant Mohammed Azimuddin. In Toastmaster, I am since 2006. Leadership Speak is an advanced Toastmaster club for leadership development. We are one of the top 5 clubs globally. In today's session, we have many things to learn: how to speak professionally, how to write speech with purpose, how to handle difficult audience, how to develop vision, and how to know our sense of humor. Here is the club mission. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self confidence and personal growth. And here is the leadership statement. Leadership Speak is the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has your virtual hand raised to see who is taking care of the timing today. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests and leaders, members, guess who is on the driving seat today for the compassionate leadership? Aswathy Rajan, yes. She is a scientist and instructional coach. She is a Toastmaster since 2020. And since then, this journey has become a life changing one. She has served various leadership roles, from charter president of her home club in India to the area director and currently division director. She is a vice president of public relations of Leadership Speak. She is an educator, learner who believes in bringing positive change in the society through education. Please help me welcoming Toastmaster of the Day, Aswathy Rajan.
Thank you, DTM Mohammed Azimuddin, for that warm welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Welcome to meeting number 116 of Leadership Speak. Today, the theme of the meeting is compassionate leadership. Compassion. Compassion can be defined as a sensitivity to suffering in self and others with a commitment to try to elevate and prevent it. We can experience compassion in different ways. We can feel compassion for other people. We can experience compassion from others. And there is also the compassion we can direct towards ourselves. Compassionate leadership involves a focus on relationships through careful listening to, understanding, empathizing with, and supporting other people. Enabling those we lead to feel valued, respected, and cared for, so they can reach their potential and do their best work. There is clear evidence that compassionate leadership results in more engaged and motivated members with high levels of well being, which in turn results in high quality care. How do compassionate leaders behave? They empathize with their colleagues and seek to understand the challenges they face. They are committed to supporting others to cope up and respond successfully to work challenges. And they are focused on enabling those they lead to be effective and thrive in their work. Compassionate leaders don't have all the answers. Yes, of course. And don't simply tell people what to do. Instead, they engage with the people they work with to find shared solutions to the problems. And for leaders to become compassionate, it must also be inclusive. Compassion blurs the boundaries between self and other, and promoting belonging, trust, understanding, mutual support, and inclusion. And this creates an inclusive, psychologically safe environment in which diversity in all forms is valued and team members can contribute creatively and enthusiastically to team performances. Leadership Speak is a perfect example of this. This diverse, advanced Toastmasters club spanning 20 plus countries, compassionate leadership thrives here. Members share dreams, leveraging their communication skills to inspire change. And by combining passion with compassion, they create a ripple effect, connecting with others, raising the potentials, and turning dreams into reality. So, dear friends, today we'll be talking more about compassionate leadership. But for now, it's time to invite the timer of the day who will be explaining her role. And to play the role, we have Meltem Sahi. Meltem, could you please brief your role?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of today. My name is Meltem. I will be your timer today. So I will indicate the time according to the agenda. And I will give my report at the end of each session after speakers and evaluators. Please pay attention to my background. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Now, moving on to the next member who is going to play the role of grammarian. And to play the role, we have Lydia. Lydia, over to you.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, saying, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word of the day is affable. Affable, which means being pleasant and at ease in talking to others. An example in using the word is an affable boss characterized by ease and friendliness. He was very friendly, affable, busy, kind. Or she was always a very affable and a free-spoken young lady and very civil behaved. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian report when called upon during the meeting and also report on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Back to you.
Thank you, Lydia. So we also have two more affable role players. I would like to acknowledge them. So we had our greeter, Angela Brown, who greeted everyone in the beginning. And we also have a silent role player, Zoom master, who is Karine Baptiste. Now, it's time to raise the toast. And to do that, we have a distinguished Toastmaster who is a 17-year Toastmaster. Yes, a charter member of Leadership Speak, parliamentarian, a business consultant, and an executive with the Royal Canadian Legion. He is a past District 86 governor and a past District 123 parliamentarian. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome distinguished Toastmaster Tony Bruschett.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Hello, everyone. Today's theme is compassionate leadership, as we know, and I am very happy to provide this toast. Now, what does compassionate leadership mean? And we've heard a very good analysis from Toastmaster Aswathy. But let's look at each of those two words. First, compassion. What's the difference between compassion and empathy? Because they're both emotions. Now, empathy is the awareness of another person's emotions, whereas compassion is the action to help that person. So we might say empathy is putting yourself in that person's shoes, whereas compassion is perhaps giving that person a better pair of shoes. Then leadership. And we know about leadership, right? And leadership can be said making other people more successful. And that's where we use our personal skills and abilities to perform, inspire, and persuade people to improve themselves. Now, back to the word compassion. If you look at that word, do you see the first part being compass? And as you know, compass is an instrument that shows directions, north, south, east, and west. Whereas leadership is a human trait where we can move people in the right direction, north, south, east, or west. In other words, we can help people move in the right direction for the right reasons at the right time. Therefore, compassionate leadership can be said to having the desire and the ability to guide and direct people to move in the right direction to get successful outcomes. In other words, it's walking the talk. And at Leadership Speak, we are self-directed leaders. We pride ourselves for being compassionate and for being leaders and for helping each other and helping other people become more successful. Please join me in the toast. Please take your cups and glasses and join me in a toast to compassionate leadership.
Compassionate leadership.
Passionate leadership.
Passionate leadership.
Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Leadership. Salute.
Thank you. Thank you for that amazing toast. So now moving on to a special speech, the leadership speech. And to present this speech, we have Youselee Joseph. But before welcoming her, let me welcome her evaluator, DTM Ray Rivero. Ray, please state the objectives for Youselee Joseph's speech. Back to you.
Thank you so very much for that wonderful introduction. Youselee Joseph is going to be presenting from the Prepare to Speak Professionally project. The purpose of this speech is for Youselee to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. She will be presenting how this speech is going to be related to the theme. And as her evaluator, I will pay attention to that and see if there's any other areas where she excelled in and where she improved upon. So I'll take it back over to you, Aswathy.
Thank you, Ray. Today's leadership speaker, Youselee, is an economist and project manager. She's a Toastmaster since 2009. And she has already held many roles in her club executive committee, and she is also an immediate past area director for her area. She says this speech will take us all back to simple values that are fading in the world, focused on human categorization and number. So let's invite Youselee. Compassion is a unique utility. Compassion is a unique utility. Youselee Joseph.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Greeting, Toastmasters.
and guests. Sam Altman said, the reduction in compassion that happens when we are all behind computer screens is not good for the world. And the Dalai Lama said, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. Those two statements put emphasis on compassion as a way of living for humankind. Do you agree with that?
We do.
Take study. Let's see. As human, we have made a lot of scientific and technological progress. We have our gadgets full of specialized sites and programs. Nowadays, we have more knowledge and we have AI. The way of living in this century make us marathon runner. We are running in all directions at the same time because we are called everywhere at the same time. So we are tired. Adding to that, we are in this post-pandemic moment, which has promoted social distancing. No more hug. Meanwhile, our relationship with humans is declining, while our relationship with our gadgets, cell phone, laptop, TV is increasing, is growing, as well as loneliness, fear, and emotional distress. We are more exposed to social media, as we should always have our camera and microphone constantly fixed on us, revealing the slightest imperfection or the slightest error, and a flood of criticism that appear everywhere, especially on the internet, is scary. So now it is crucial to have questions about the importance of compassion, a concept that seems so uncommon. We are so busy that simple things as kindness, active listening, patience become boring and old-fashioned. Sometimes I am like, what is going on? Don't you? We have so much to accomplish, so much to do for ourselves, our family, our work, and it becomes difficult to keep compassion as a mantra, especially for leaders. And sometimes we need some reminder, because habit, good or bad, are not automatic. So we need something to keep reminding us to go back to our old-fashioned values. And compassion raises a lot of questions, like how, when, and why. Questions that I have had when I was president of my Toastmasters Club 2 years ago. A small club with 20 members, and it was not my first time. So not a big deal, I thought. In 2021, while I was president of this Toastmasters Club, my humanity was put to test. There was not the first time, but there were some days I wanted to go to the store to exchange my club members. Just go back to the store, get other members. Or some other days, I just want to run away. Run far away from them and never get back. Let me explain why. The year has started well, with high motivated members, and I was on the moon. And then everything crashed. One afternoon, I have received a message on my phone about the tragic death of a nurse. She was caught in the crossfire of rival gangs. She was killed inside the ambulance, taking her to her work. She was the wife of one of my club members. The next day, I called my colleague member and let him know that I was there for him. I was there to help him, and I encouraged all club members to do the same. And I said, just one member having problem, so everything is good. 2 days later, early in the morning, another message announcing the murder of the country's president. Calm down. This one was not a member of my club. And many other unfortunate events before and after these two murders. So we were afraid for our lives, which motivated most of the club members to leave the city where we were the capital of the country to settle in some other town and cities in the south of the country, where they didn't have any good internet connection or electricity. And a month and a half later, an earthquake happened in the southern part of the country. So the members of my club and their families were victims. And during this year, other members were hospitalized. When all those things happening. Sometimes I said, my role as the club president is to help the club reach the DCP, right? But who will I get there with if all of them is having problems like that, fearing for their lives? So my desire to trade them was justified. I asked myself about the future of this country, this club, with those members. And at that time, the only way was being a compassionate leader. I will just be there for them. I will assist them as best as I can. At each tragic event, I took time to call every members. I visited them. I went to funeral, hospital, encourage everyone to do the same. I made difficult decisions by being direct and transparent. The club must survive. We have meeting every Sunday afternoon, and we will not miss not one meeting, regardless the number of members available. And guess what? No member left the club. Some went to restaurant, hotel lounge, or to members' house who live nearby to be able to participate in club meeting. We even had an in-person party to close the year. I've had an extraordinary year. And while we were enjoying the party, the new club president asked me, Youselee, what should I do to keep them like this, so motivated? I told her, have compassion and everything will be okay. It was not a lie. Everything was okay. Compassion is not something easy to do. Remember the former Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern. She was applauded, but also criticized for being a compassionate leader. For some, compassion is weakness. In one post, she even mentioned that she was seen as weak. So compassion requires strength, courage, and passion. We need patience. Patience in this fast-paced world could be tiring and can seem utopian, but we have done more than that, so we can still do more. Compassion is never pity or simply empathy, like Tony just said. It requires action through active listening, mutual assistance, holding hands, guiding others. It requires as well an open mind and humility. Humility to recognize the value of others and to know that they can bring something new. They can bring something great on the table. In the word, they are leaders who have been applauded, praised, and recognized for their compassion, like Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa. This means that their benefits, but compassion is not a quest for prize and certificates. Compassion leads to trust. By trusting their leaders, people will embrace their vision. Compassion leads to more influence for leaders through increasing motivation and engagement from those we are leading. And the third benefit is to create strong bonds between people. Resulting from all of this, progress is better, and we have better mental and physical health. Usually we talk a lot about compassion that we should have for those we are leading. But there's a second group of people for whom we should have compassion as well. The second group is the people who are leading us. Yes, our leaders deserve to receive compassion as well. Starting here in this club, the leaders of our institution, they are human as well. Keep in mind that position can be like musical chairs. So they are leading today, you can be the leaders tomorrow. So they deserve our compassion. And as a leader, we do a lot of researches. We learn a lot about how to treat others. And we get better day by day. And sometimes we don't realize that the person we are harshest, rude, mean to is ourselves. My dear friends, I encourage you to practice compassion towards yourself. You deserve it. Compassion is magnificent. It's beautiful. And it is worth. So when you are being very successful, be compassionate. When the world is crumbling under your feet, be compassionate. Whether you are leading or not, be compassionate. No matter of your origin, accomplishment, or wealth, be compassionate. No matter where you are in this world, be compassionate. Because it is one word and we are all stick together. So let us have more compassion for one another and more compassion for ourselves for a better world. Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
What a powerful and impactful message, Youselee. Compassion is magnificent and compassion is really beautiful. Compassion is being able to be with someone or a situation without judging it. And it is about creating and holding the space for what needs attention at that time. And it is about being there as a source, as a resource that might help them, but not necessarily needs to fix things every time. Thank you so much, Youselee Joseph, for sharing that beautiful message with all of us. So now moving on to the speeches, we have our first speaker, Jennifer Ghosh. But before inviting her, let me invite her evaluator, Barbara Jarvis. Barbara, please share the objectives of DTM Jennifer's speech.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. Jennifer Ghosh's speech, she'll be doing a presentation mastery 1 of 2. She's going to be writing a speech with purpose. She's asked me to look out for these attributes of herself. Look out for the effective pauses. Look out for her tone and the Zoom presence. And with this speech, she's going to be defining a speech with a narrow enough topic. Back over to you, Madam Toastmaster today.
Thank you, Barbara. So our next speaker, Jennifer Ghosh, says, compassionate leadership is a boost of motivation to push teams forward to succeed. The core of humanity is compassion. Where there is compassion, there is love, growth, and a reason to thrive. She says leaders who lead by compassion achieve more success as opposed to those who do not. And in her speech, she speaks from her personal experiences today. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome distinguished Toastmaster Jennifer Ghosh, Mystic Powers. Mystic Powers, Jennifer Ghosh.
Thank you, Aswathy. Conscious, subconscious. Conscious, subconscious. One summer evening, I went across to the pharmacy to buy some medicines. I walked out of the store and was just about to cross the road when suddenly something told me, stop. I was wondering what had happened. I did stop. Seconds later, a very speeding vehicle passed me and missed me by just inches. On recovering from the shock of nearly being run over, I realized some mystical force had saved me from getting killed. Yes, from getting killed. Unfortunately, since I could not at that point in time explain to myself what had happened, I convinced myself that God, in His mercy, had saved my life. Years later, I understood. In reality, what actually happened was my subconscious subconscious mind, which operates on a much faster time scale, heard the sound of the approaching vehicle and understood that I was about to cross over. It alerted me from crossing and colliding with the truck by sending out a warning signal. Stop in capital bold letters. It also knew that to pass this information on to my conscious mind would have taken far too long to process. Therefore, the quickest way to stop my body from colliding was to pass that bold command to my conscious mind, as in stop. Think about this. There are times when, for no reason at all, you may sense that something is not right. Danger may be lurking around the corners. Well, this is a result of our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind, in accord with our other senses, can analyze a room or analyze a dark pathway, smell things, hear things at supersonic speed, and throws out a warning. All this happens in just a fraction. Our subconscious mind, my dear friends, is a force that can shape our lives in ways we may not even be aware of. It directly influences our successes, wealth, happiness, and even our willpower. Let's explore further about our subconscious mind and how to use it or how to unlock it so that we can create positive changes in our lives. The subconscious mind is made of two parts, the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. Did you know that the subconscious mind processes at 27,500 times more data than the conscious mind? Source, thinkbynumbers.org. From my personal experiences, the more you use your subconscious mind, the more tuned you become to it. So much so that it becomes a normal habit, such as eating, drinking, or even sleeping. So, my dear Toastmasters, what is the subconscious mind that I talked to you about? It is basically an ability of the subconscious mind to analyze data much faster than the conscious mind would take. For humans, our subconscious mind is perceived as having some kind of mystical ability, making us aware of things, aware of our surroundings, or as opposed to our normal consciousness. In reality, the subconscious mind is a direct result of our conscious and subconscious minds working on different time scales. I was so fascinated by this subject that I have read, researched on this topic pretty intensely. One of my favorite books is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by an affable author, Joseph Dennis Murphy. It's a self-help book that teaches us how to use our subconscious mind to improve our life. Murphy believes that our subconscious mind can help us achieve success if we learn how to utilize it properly. Through visualization techniques and affirmations, he helps us learn and understand the concept. Do read this book which has been translated into many languages and sold worldwide. The 12 Powers talks about how to give positive suggestions to your subconscious mind that heals, blesses, elevates, and inspires. This is also by our famous author, Joseph Murphy. Therefore, our subconscious mind is a very unique mystical gift. If used wisely, it can help us reach our highest potential. Conscious, subconscious, conscious, subconscious. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, DTM Ghosh. Yes, conscious, subconscious. The subconscious mind is definitely a fascinating and complex aspect of our mental processes, and that influences our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. And now I know why. Because our subconscious mind can process more than 27,500 thoughts. Wow, that's wonderful. Once again, thanks a lot, distinguished Toastmaster Jennifer. Now moving on to our next speech by Toastmaster Dinesh Sharma. Today he is going to present a very interesting project, and to state the objectives of his speech, we have his evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt. Hannah, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Dinesh Sharma is speaking from Team Collaboration, Managing a Difficult Audience. The purpose statement is, the purpose of this project is for the member to practice the skills needed to address audience challenges when he presents outside of Toastmasters. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Toastmaster Dinesh says, as a leader, we come across many difficult audience, and we need to practice the skills needed to address the audience and the challenges. And today's project is one such example. About the theme, when I asked him, he said, as the name implies, compassionate leadership focuses on achieving business outcomes while prioritizing the well-being of the entire team. A compassionate leader focuses on shared vision and values, long-term objectives, frequent face-to-face contact, and more importantly, constructive and ethical conflict management. With that, let's invite Toastmaster Dinesh Sharma, leading in any situation. Leading in any situation, Toastmaster Dinesh Sharma.
Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guest. What a start of the meeting. Youselee, you brought us in with your speech of compassionate leadership. And then Jennifer supplemented it by saying conscious mind or unconscious mind. Then I'm thinking, hey, yes, as a leader, we need to be compassionate, but we also need to be aware of our conscious mind and unconscious mind when we are leading others. So today I'm going to be presenting strategies for becoming effective situational leader. When I looked at it as how am I going to present this? So all of you know I'm building a not-for-profit organization for the last couple of years' time. So I said, maybe I will be learning that I've had so far in the last couple of years' time. I'm going to share that. So first thing first is what situational leadership is. So the two of the most famous leadership coaches, Ken Blanchard and Hersey, says the situational leadership means choosing the right leadership styles for the right people. We all know there are different leadership styles, so there is no one right fit leadership styles. This is the time of the history when the leaders look less like bosses and more like partners. So I'm going to share the journey that I've had of this leadership in the last 4 years' time. I'm going to share with you starting the foundation. COVID-19 hit all of us in 2020. In Canada, 3 million people lost a job. Most of them were the newcomers to Canada. When we talk of newcomers, we mean anybody who's been in Canada for less than 5 years' time. Canada is a beautiful country, but it takes time for somebody to fully accustomed to Canadian way of doing things in 5 years' time. And when 3 million people lost their job, we said we need to do something. And then we started setting this foundation on helping people learn the law of the land. That was setting the foundation. Me and 2 other individuals, Praveen Gill and Biju Mishra, we started this. But with any journey that you start, there will always be obstacles. Alignment of thoughts won't match. And in this particular thing, the same thing happened. My vision was different than the vision of these 2 wonderful individuals. So as a compassion leader, we talk and we says, let's part the ways. So we parted the ways.
Oh, Dinesh, I don't mean to interrupt or be difficult, but how did you resolve those difficulties?
So the good point, Tony, the way we resolved these difficulties were, we first talked about, hey, why are our visions not aligning? So the vision not aligning was, they wanted to make it a profit venture. I wanted to make this as a not-for-profit venture. But then that was later on. The other part was, and I said, maybe my style of working is not working with them too. So I went to a career coach or personality coach, helping me understand, is there something that I'm not doing it right? Okay. And I did that for 3 months' time. And then we figured out, no, it's the vision which is not aligning. It's not the
Hello.
The
I am in the meeting here. I have already told you I am in the meeting. Why are you disturbing me again and again?
Paramjit,
You don't
thank
understand
you.
that?
Thank you for
Don't understand?
I understand you're in a meeting. Okay, but we all agreed for this leadership speak meeting time. So we know this meeting. So every week we have this meeting from 9:30 to 11:30. So if you think that I'm disturbing you, maybe you can put me on mute. So that way you won't hear me and you could still attend that way. But I really appreciate you sharing this. I mean, again, we know this is a weekly meeting and we all are part learning and building a platform. So thank you. And I apologize if I'm disturbing you in this meeting, but this is the time that we only set up for the meeting all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. But thank you. I appreciate that. And I apologize if I'm disturbing you in your other meeting. Just put me on mute. So that I don't disturb you. All right. I hope, Tony, I answered your question also. So when things were not working out, we changed the direction. We parted ways, but the vision still remains the same. We now brought in a team of other professionals, other like-minded individuals who wanted to run this organization. So once we changed the direction, we brought the meeting, okay, the year 2022 was the process of stabilizing this organization, bringing in more community partners, bringing in more thought leaders into the organization, diversity, inclusions, gender equality. There are many other things that we wanted to have this as part of the visions. Once we stabilize this operation, sorry, was there somebody?
For you. Yeah, I have one question for you.
Yeah,
what
sure,
strategies is Brilliant Minds Group employing to attract and retain top talent in a competitive labor market? How do you do that?
Beautiful. Good question, Manal. One of the things that I have learned in my life, I'm an HR professional. Okay. And within the HR, attracting talent is my key area of strength. But one other thing that I have always believed, and the belief is the work you do speaks so louder that the words we say don't matter much. So the work that we have been doing through Brilliant Minds Group is so powerful. It's so inspiring to the people that take leadership speak as an example. Okay, let's park BMG on a side for an hour. Let's look at leadership speak as example. And I'm being very respectful when I say this. Okay, I am currently part of 3 leadership clubs in 3 different districts. And I would say this proudly that Leadership Speak Club has been able to attract every week new members. We have membership from 20 different countries, more than 50 members, more than, being the top 5 club within the first 3 years' time, aiming to be the top club this year. Why is that? It is only
Dinesh, I'm not interested in leadership speak. I'm more interested in BMG. What are the strategies are followed by BMG only? I'm less interested about.
But he has already parked it on the side. He has parked it on the side. Already he has parked that on the side.
So okay, let me unpark it. Let me put it into the drive mode again, and let me bring BMG back here. Okay, so the strategies that we have adopted for attracting the talent is 3 things. The first strategy is we are a group of like-minded individuals with a deep passion or compassion, as we said, to serve the community. So when we serve the community, a phase comes in our life when we feel that, hey, for us, we've reached to a certain position. What can we do for others? What can we do? So that part of our life, what we are doing it at the moment, is attracting more and more individuals to us. And they want to be a part of Brilliant Minds Group because everybody, somewhere down the line, we all have this thought that, hey, when I was reaching to a certain position, there were other individuals that have helped me to reach where I am. Can we help other individuals in the journey? I have a gentleman who says, hey, we are going to light 10,000 candles. So the 10,000 candles, what he means by that is we're going to make the impact in 10,000 people's life by providing them necessary tools to help them achieve their full potential. Can I impact 10,000 people? No, I can't. Maybe Mrinal, you seeing the work that I'm doing it, you get impacted, and then Mrinal goes ahead and Mrinal does that for 2 more people. It's a chain reaction. People helping people to reach their goal. And Ray, I haven't heard from you, man. I mean, Ray, you're such a wonderful Toastmaster. I have a lot of regards for you. I haven't heard anything from you. How about what's your thought, Ray?
Yeah, well explained. Thanks.
Thanks,
It sounds like compassionate leadership to me. Well done.
Thanks, Choni, but I'm waiting to hear from Ray. He's been very quiet. Normally, Ray is, the thing that I like about Ray is as soon as
sorry, Dinesh, but my conscious mind is not keeping up with the subconsciousness of capturing all of your information. So I have to rely on Mr. Google and Mrs. Wikipedia to get some of this additional information. So forgive me, I just concentrate on being in silent mode today and try to keep up with your wonderful speech. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. But the good part is, okay, I respect your priorities. I fully respect your priorities. I just wanted to make sure that whatever I'm sharing here, or not only me sharing here, the other members of the team are asking question, you are able to participate into it, or you're able to get the information that we are sharing. Moving on, we will continue the conversation, okay, but I got to be respectful of the time also. So scaling up, we're now scaling up our operations. We've been awarded the Promising Startup Company Award. But as I said, for us, gender equality and the diversity and inclusions are two important things. And Mrinal, to answer your question, the culture that we are building it up, picture on the right-hand side, it's a family culture that we are building it up. That's where people are getting attracted to us. But then, not only that, we're saying immigrants' journey to success, or anything and everything that we do it with a compassion.
But Mr.
You
Dinesh,
wanna
you don't
make
look like Mr. Dinesh in the last photograph. You are a little different person, I think.
Sir, this is where it is called is a situational leadership. Look at when you have a senior leader like Baldev Muttaji, who's been doing this for the last 30 years time, then I changed my profile from a leader to become a follower. Because, hey, you got to be a situational person. You got to understand, hey, you got to respect the way we usually said, you need to be compassionate person. I can go to Baldev Mutta and says, hey, I am a leader. Well, he's more senior to me. He is more knowledgeable to me. So as a leader, you always needs to be a lifelong learner. Okay, moving on. So we recently organized this event for supporting the international student community, because Canada attracts not only the newcomers, but also a lot of international students. As I said, we live by the examples. And moving on, we are now scaling up our operations in India. On April 26, we are launching this in North India, in Chandigarh. Some of you, those who are in India, if you want to come over and be part of it too, you are more than welcome. Summarizing, adapt your style to motivate and encourage the cooperation of the team. Learn to be fluid in your leadership. Develop the skills of persuasion. Gain the trust of the people that you work with. Develop your problem-solving skills, develop your coaching skills, and very importantly, I think I was able to manage the emotions during all these wonderful comments that were being made during this presentation. That's all the situational leadership is. Thank you very much. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dinesh Sharma. That was a great presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was a very interesting project, managing difficult audience. Now, moving on to our next speech by Sandra Valks. So, let me invite her evaluator, Toastmaster Baron Ochola, to explain the objectives of her speech. Toastmaster Baron, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. It is a pleasure for me to evaluate Sandra, Toastmaster Sandra, who has evaluated me many times, and we will get started with it. Toastmaster Sandra is starting off on another pathway, and with that, she has to deliver an icebreaker speech. And for her pathway, rather, it is in engaging humor. So we expect to laugh. The purpose is for her to deliver a speech on any topic as an introduction to the club using any style that appeals. And when I spoke to her, she said, it's a simple icebreaker in engaging humor. So I'll hopefully introduce myself once again, but with an engaging manner, and hopefully put smiles on the faces of audience members. And that is much of what I will be looking out for when I evaluate Toastmaster Sandra. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Baron. Toastmaster Sandra Valks. She is a compassionate queen of straight talks, and she believes that compassion guides the whole success of effective communication, and that certainly is especially true in the role of leadership. Without compassion, one could fall to arrogance. So let's instead rise in compassion. So today she is accepting this new challenge to give her icebreaker of her new path, engaging humor. Sandra walks. It's all about me. It's all about me. Sandra walks.
It's all about me. I get to be all about me, all about, well, and my mom. Yes. Oh, for sure, my mom. Oh, and my dad too. Well, my kids, my siblings, you know, they were there, but no, this is all about me. Have you ever looked back at the horror, the awful things in your life? I'm just going to share one awful, horrific, traumatic moment of my life. Like I was maybe 5. My mom was much younger. She was much younger than well, yeah, she was alive too. Yeah, so my mom was alive and I was much younger and I loved yellow. Yellow was my color. Keep that in mind. Now, there I was, getting all ready for Sunday school. My mother was a glamour girl. She was a queen watcher. Do you know you wear a slip under your dress? That's so that you show off the dress. That's what the queen did. You know you wear a hat because that's what the queen did. And you know you move just so because that's what the queen did. And my mother was a hairdresser, a beautiful hairdresser, and she would have my hair all in these little ringlets. Now, in those days, those little ringlets got in there with rags. Do you remember anyone? Anyone remember putting the hair in rags to make the ringlets? A lot of work. And she really liked to make sure we were all spit and polish. We might be in our all-togethers through the week, but on Sunday for Sunday school, we were beautiful. Now, here I was. She'd gotten everybody ready, my brothers, my sister, and me. Now she got me ready and said, now you don't touch anything, you stay clean. Well, there I was in my little yellow hat. I couldn't say yellow, so it was Heller. I had my little Heller hat, and I had my little Heller jacket, and I had my little Heller dress, and it was all beautiful. I had also white gloves, because that's what we did, all for Easter Sunday, and white tights on, and little black patent shoes. Well, where is Dad? Dad is still at the barn. Can you imagine? We're all ready to go, and he's going to be late. So Mom tells me, put on your gumboots, Sandra, and you go down to the barn and get your dad. Tell him to hurry up. We're going to be late. So on to the gumboots and my little yellow hat and my little yellow coat. Oh, I was so beautiful. And don't get dirty, she'd say. So off I went out the barn. Well, it had been raining and the muck in the barnyard must have been at least 6 inches deep. It was muck. And there went little Sandra, little 5-year-old muck, schmuck, oh, schmuck. That's how I would sink down into that mud, schmuck. I got to the barn and we had one of those half doors that, Daddy, Daddy, Mommy says, hurry up. I'm coming. So then I turned to go back and schmuck. Oh. I had such trouble getting my foot up out of the muck. And the gumboot, you know, you had to kind of put your toes into the gumboot to hold them on your foot as you pull them up out of the muck, because it was just suction. Now, if you've never gone in quicksand, I've often thought that was probably what it felt like. Schmuck. Over I went. Schmuck. I couldn't get my foot out. And down I went with my lovely little white gloves into all that muck. Remember, it's a barnyard. This isn't just plain old mud. This is cows have been going through there. Oh, I was horrified. And as I went to catch myself, my boot caught in the muck and out came my little foot in my little white stockings. I was horrified. And my pretty stuff was all messed up. And I couldn't imagine what Mom was going to do. Can you imagine the horror? It was ingrained in my mind. It was never going to be lost. Oh, my mother, I don't know how she ever survived being a glamour girl and a queen watcher and being on the farm. She was not any ordinary farmer's wife, my mother. She was special. But she came through it with flying colors. Somehow she got me cleaned up. I don't remember that part. I just remember the trauma of being stuck in the muck and my pretty yeller all gone. Now I've decided that I like to laugh a lot. I'm sure if I was in the boardroom, I'd be laughing. Lighten up, folks, lighten up. So I like to laugh. And so as I look back at some of these horrendous times that would have been horrifying in my young mind, I can look back and not say, oh, Mother, you really did it. You taught me how to laugh my way through all the nonsense and look back and say, what a memory. Now, I wonder if you have taken time. Have you taken time, instead of going back and pouting about what you didn't have you taken time to use a new perspective and bring compassion to the affable work your mother did? Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Sandra. Now we know all about you. I mean, also about your mom and your dad and your siblings. I mean, all about you. Thank you for sharing your beautiful story with all of us. So let's move on to our next speaker, who is Nthati Mokhantso. And to evaluate her speech, we have John Ojeifo. John, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Hello, fellow Toastmasters, guests and visitors. Toastmaster Nthati will be delivering a speech from Pathways Visionary Communication Part, Level 5, Project Number 1, entitled Develop Your Vision. The purpose of this project is for the member to develop a detailed vision for his or her personal life, or professional life, or an organization. However, she is delivering the first pitch of this project. And the purpose of this first pitch is for the member to share some aspects of his or her vision. In my earlier communication with Nthati, she requested that I focus on her vocal variety, Zoom presence, and the linkage between her content and her speech. The time for her speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, John. When I asked about the theme of the day, Nthati said, compassionate leadership is leadership in which a leader understands that before a person becomes a follower, she is a human and a social being. I agree with Simon Sinek that compassionate leadership occurs when leaders focus less on being in charge and focus more on those in their charge. What a wonderful thought, Nthati. Thank you for sharing with all of us. Today, she's going to speak about disaster management because she believes that disaster management should be everybody's business. Nthati Mokhantso, the candle in the wind. The candle in the wind, Nthati Mokhantso.
Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you felt like a candle in the wind, flickering and swaying, but refusing to be extinguished. Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters and guests, the candle referred to today is not just any candle, but it is a beacon of resilience, a candle that gives hope in the face of disasters that emanate from natural hazards. I know what you are thinking. You are expecting me to sing today and also asking questions. Why on earth would I want to be a candle in the wind? Because it's blown away. But being a candle isn't just about emitting light. It is about standing tall despite all odds and illuminate the path as you are going forward. Imagine a windy day with torrents of rain pouring, and you are here as a candle, bravely standing and emitting light. Of course, you will get a little bit battered, but you know what? You will still remain shining bright. Fellow Toastmasters, Nelson Mandela, Udada, our father, during the Treason trial said, I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and a free society in which all people live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal for which I hope to live and to see realized. But my Lord, if it needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. Dada Mandela said these words because that's his vision, a free society, and he lived and achieved his vision. My vision is to create a district-wide, resilient, adaptive, and prepared community, which is able to mitigate the impact of natural hazards which result in disasters and ensure that they live safely and their well-being is well looked after. In trying to achieve this long-term goal, this vision, I have the long-term goal, the medium, as well as the short-term goal. For the short-term goal, I have the following activities. First, stakeholder collaboration. This will assist in ensuring that there is buy-in from communities. Remember, fellow Toastmasters, disaster management is a new paradigm. Who can tell me what is a disaster? Anyone?
Pandemic?
Yes.
COVID-19, the pandemic?
Yes, a pandemic is an example of a disaster.
For me, something something that interferes with your plans and causes disruption and harm.
You're muted.
Nthati,
You're on mute, Nthati.
Muted.
You are correct. It may threaten to interfere or actually interferes with your daily activities, with your daily living, and may cause harm, cause harm, or may cost life. There are a number of disasters. All these are coming from either man-made hazards or natural hazards, but disasters are man-made. This is a topic for another day. As I proceed with the collaboration, we'll get an understanding, educating communities, educating stakeholders so that they understand what causes disaster and get a buy-in from them to manage the disaster. Policy and advocacy, that's my short term. Education, as I've already indicated, and the issuing of early warnings, which I have already started. In the mid-term, what I'm planning to do is the risk assessment. Communities differ. Others are more vulnerable to hazards than others. Some are vulnerable to a certain type of hazard. Therefore, risk assessment is very critical in ensuring that the management of disasters in various corners within the district is relevant, and that the tools that are brought in, the resources that are brought in are relevant. Ensuring that we change the paradigm in the construction of infrastructure, because in our area, we have a number of hazards, natural hazards in particular, which are inclusive but not limited to rain, wind, storms, and a few biological hazards. Examples, the cholera, the Ebola, and others. In the long term, in 2035, it is my vision and in my plan is to ensure that we have a resilient community that is able to stand against hazards that may result in disasters. Fellow Toastmasters, in conclusion, I hereby present the vision plan with its long, medium, and short-term plan. Are you joining in? Remember, disaster management is everyone's business. Are you taking the baton and be that candle which is not snuffed by strong winds, but one that stands tall? Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Nthati, for that great, powerful speech. As you said, disaster management is everyone's business. Thank you once again for sharing the powerful vision with all of us. Now let's move on to our next speaker, speaker number 5, who is Vinod Panicker. And to evaluate his speech, we have our evaluator who will be stating the objectives for his speech. And the evaluator is Toastmaster Paramjit Singh. Toastmaster Paramjit, please state the objectives.
Good evening, everyone. Good morning for everyone. Good evening because of the bye, and particularly for Vinod also. So, Vinod Panicker is attempting a speech from Engaging Humor, Pathway Engaging Humor, and Project Level 2, Project 1. And the project objective is The purpose of this project is to begin developing a collection of humorous stories and to present a speech that includes humor. And he has asked me to look out particularly for body language and ability to make his audience laugh. Looking forward for the crackers in the speech. Over to you, Vinod. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Paramjit. When I asked about the theme, Toastmaster Vinod shared a beautiful quote by the Dalai Lama. Compassion is more powerful than love. You cannot love your neighbor's wife, but you can be compassionate to her. That's from Vinod Panicker. When we see the world through lens of compassion, we start seeing good in others. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Toastmaster Vinod Panicker, the haircut. The haircut, Vinod Panicker.
What do you expect when you go for a haircut? For men, a change in their appearance. For women, a transformation in their appearance. I can say so because whenever my wife goes to a hair salon and comes out, it takes me around 20 seconds to just recognize her. Our affable Toastmaster of the day and compassionate leaders. Let me take you back just 15 days back when I had my haircut. It was evening time. I went for an haircut. I sat down and I told my barber that just medium haircut, that's it. Okay, so to be in reality, this is how I was when I sat on the seat, not wearing a coat. Usually, whenever I go for a haircut, I just say one thing to the barber, medium haircut, and that's it. Once the hair is done, I immediately run out and come home. But that day, while the barber was thinking of my hair as a canvas and performing his art, he asked me a question. So you look pretty tired. Would you like to have a massage, head massage? The way in which he had said that, I really felt I was tired. I said, okay, fine, you can go ahead. After some time, he said, what would you like to do? Would you like to use a razor? I would recommend you to use a wax on your ears. Now, this was the first time I was hearing this term for a man that you can use wax. I looked at him and said, why do you want wax? Sir, the hairs will not come for 2-3 months. I looked at him, okay, fine, go ahead. After the haircut, he took a stick that looked like a popsicle candy bar. He walked 5 steps from a bowl of green wax. He put that stick into that and rotated it 3 to 4 times. And while he was coming back, I got a notification on my mobile. I took my mobile out. I thought it would be an important message because out of 10 messages, 7 messages are from Leadership Speak group. It can be a mentor circle, extraordinary circle, or Leadership Speak. I thought Karen would be asking, can you do this particular role for the next meeting? So I took the mobile and looked at the notification. My barber came with the wax and put it on my ear and rotated 2 or 3 times. I just looked at him and said, it is hot. He smiled and said, no, sir, it is just a little bit warm. I learned a life lesson that day. Be in the moment. The second time when he went to take the wax, I immediately kept the mobile and I was ready. I remembered the book of Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Wherever you are, be there. Forget everything in life. I was just waiting for him. The second time he came to the second year, he started rotating. He was right. Actually, it was just warm. It was not hot. The first time I was not paying attention. So then I realized in life, when we don't pay attention, warm things start feeling hot. The next time, pay attention. Now, once he did that, he took 2 steps back, he took his mobile out, and he was calling someone. And he put his hand on my shoulder. Now I was ready. I was in the moment and I knew that he would be doing something. But I was not prepared for what was going to happen next. He kept his phone down and very casually he put his hand on my ears and he took the wax. Ah! He said, "A little bit pain, sir. Have you never done a wax before?" I have never done it and I am never going to do it in my life. Second lesson I learned, be prepared. Then when he did with the second ear, it still pained. The pain was still there even if you are prepared, but now you are better prepared. Then I started thinking, what a lesson he has taught me. You have to be prepared. You have to pay attention and you have to be prepared in your life. And even when you know that it is going to pain, the second time it will pain less. Now, I thought everything was done, but then I forgot the first thing that he had told me, head massage. He just took 1 step back, he joined his hand, and I stayed there like that for 30 seconds. My neck was going right, left, center. And after some time, I just stayed calm and quiet. It was then I realized the power of staying calm. When life throws you punches right, left, and center, just be calm. After that experience, there was a sparkle in my eyes. There was a smile on my face because I felt fresh, but the ear was still hurting. So that day, when I came out of that hair salon, not only there was a change in my face or in my appearance, I had changed as a person intellectually. I learned the power of now. You have to be wherever you are present. The second, always be prepared. And third, calmness is power. By leaving, I will leave you with a last lesson that I learned. As a Toastmaster, carry a paper and pen because your next lesson may come from your barber or someone else. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Sorry, I got a message. Yes, it is from
Muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, I got a message from Leadership Speak. Yes, even when we are all here in a meeting, message from our meeting group. You were right, Toastmaster Vinod. But we could not stay calm because we were laughing out loud throughout your speech. It was an amazing, humorous speech today. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our last speaker for today. Now, let us invite the timer, Melton Sahi, to share the time taken by all the speakers. Toastmaster Melton.
No, it's already in the chat.
Yeah, I just left it.
Yes,
from-
thank you. Thank you so much, Melton. You have already shared in the group. So, dear friends, talking about the theme, compassionate leadership. We heard a lot about compassionate leaders. A compassionate leader doesn't just recognize their team's experience and emotions, but also makes decisions with those realities in mind. even if it means making a difficult choice. So those are all captured in 4 behaviors of compassionate leadership. And they are number one is attending, paying attention to other people and noticing their emotions. Number 2 is understanding, determining the root cause of those emotions. Third one is empathizing, attempting to feel those same emotions, essentially putting yourself in that person's shoes. And number 4, helping or serving, taking action to effectively address what is causing those emotions or help the person find other ways to cope. In this way, compassionate leaders can certainly act as a source of support and inspiration for individuals. However, a compassionate leader's allegiance is ultimately to the well being of the team as a whole. And today, we have a very compassionate leader who will be helping us, supporting us by providing constructive feedback. Before I invite our general evaluator, you all have the polls in front of your screens. Please vote for the best efforted speaker of the day. Thank you. So let's invite the general evaluator for today, Ejura Okpanachi. Ejura is a lifelong learner dedicated to honing her communication, leadership, and connection skills. She loves to empower others and inspire them to see the endless possibilities within reach. Since joining Toastmasters in 2017, she experienced transformative growth beyond her wildest dreams. Compassionate leadership. She says, compassionate leadership makes your followers or team members feel seen and heard. Acknowledge their roles and uniqueness. That way, your team is more invested in the vision or goal and willing to help achieve them. So with that introduction, let us invite our general evaluator, Ejura Okpanachi. Over to you, Ejura.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the day. This is the all-important evaluation segment, and I'll be calling on our evaluators to evaluate all of the speeches that we've heard today, all of the awesome speeches we've heard today. And I trust that all of our evaluators will be evaluating with compassion so that our speakers will come back again and again with they are more armed with the recommendations that they will be given to do better in their next projects. So to call on the first evaluator who evaluated the toast of the day is Claudette. Claudette believes that compassionate leadership is important in creating a culture where individuals can grow and be the best versions of themselves. Claudette, you have the floor. Let's hear your thoughts on Tony's toast.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and of course, especially Tony. Congratulations on raising an impactful, meaningful, and effective toast. Tony, you excelled at your well-researched content. You explained the meaning of the theme, compassionate leadership. You broke the words down, compassion and leadership. Compassion, you said, is the action of helping someone. Leadership is to inspire and persuade others to improve themselves, to make the other person more successful, and to move them in the right direction. You're affable and sincere in delivering the theme and the toast, of course. It was clear and specific. You had a very short sentence for us to repeat when you asked us to raise our glasses. You concluded by reminding us of what we at Leadership Speak do, helping each other to become more successful. Well done, Tony. Tony, you may want to consider reminding us to unmute our microphones so that as many audience members can participate as possible. Also, before initiating the applause, consider initiating an applause before returning control back to the Toastmaster of the day. To summarize, Tony, the toast was effective in terms of the organization. It was well crafted, well researched, of course, and it was delivered with sincerity. Overall, Tony reminded us to walk the talk as compassionate leaders. Thank you, Tony, for an effective toast. Well done. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Claudette. I loved your evaluation. That was really good. It was incredibly clear and very focused. And why I liked it so much was because you were very specific about what Tony did. And your recommendations were really clear as well. I liked how positive they sounded. And all in all, at the end of this speech, you gave a very lovely and brief summary. And overall, your evaluation was very encouraging. So thank you for that, Claudette. That was impressive. Moving on to the next evaluator, I'll be calling on Toastmaster Mrinal, who will be evaluating our Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster Mrinal, I want to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Ejura. Good day, everyone. Today, I want to evaluate Affable, Compassionate Leader, Toastmaster of the Day. Oh, no. Today, I evaluate Time Management on Demand. For me, TMOD is Time Management on Demand. Exactly. Why? Yes, she created group on 1st April, almost a week ahead, and connect with each and every individual to get the details from each and every members. You are a great example of compassionate leader. Before start of the meeting, 10 minutes before, you type a message in the group, please join the meeting. Next, you ensure all the members of Leadership Speak voice is heard, scheduled, respect, and meeting flow runs smoothly without any failure of transaction. That's create a foster environment where each and every individual can feel the importance and value empowered. And that's a role of a TMOD, means time management on demand. So great things. So I know that you are facing a lot of challenges on your personal life. Still, with a lot of pain, nobody can feel. We can feel your energy level throughout the meeting. And that's amazing part of you. Next, only one point I just want to recommend you to becoming, just please write it down. So just one thing. I think you are full of energy. You are very strong as an empathetic leader. You connect with the audience with empathetic way. So I just urge you, try to increase, just like a voice modulations or maybe full of energy like Vinod today performed in his speech. So such kind of more molding or folding, whatever I want to say, just implement that and see it will happen a more engagement through the audience, and everybody can feel excitement when they are listening to you in the next level, because you are already an affable and compassionate leader. What do you think, Ejura?
I agree with you 100%, Mrinal. Thank you so much for that masterful evaluation. I would have loved to hear more and a bit more specifics on the recommendations you gave, but that was a good one. Thank you so much for that. I'm sure the Toastmaster of the Day would want to come back again to implement those recommendations and even work better on her strengths. Next, we'll be calling on the evaluator for the leadership speech. And he believes that compassionate leadership helps colleagues and subordinates know that they are valued and important because we all matter. Truer words haven't been spoken. Thank you so much. Take it away, Ray. Can't wait to hear your evaluation on the speech.
Thank you very much, Ejura. Youselee, when I contacted you, I told you my first priority is how well did your message resonate when you presented this speech today? I think you hit this one out of the park. I love the opening where you just introduced two statements inviting the audience to compassion and asking them by opening your hand to invite them to share what they thought. So adding that gesture was just a way to inspire the audience. I liked how you presented the way that you spoke. It was a consistent pace. You inserted pauses when you needed to. And I liked there was one particular example where you wanted to let the speech sink into the audience, and then you took advantage and just sort of glanced on your notes to put your thoughts together of how you were going to present the next part of the speech. And I loved how you invited the audience from time to time. You kept them engaged on you kept them engaged on your message and your presentation. And I enjoyed the examples of compassion, such as the moment where a member lost his wife, and you explained what you did. You also mentioned particular examples of world leaders who were compassionate witnesses. Jacinda Ardern, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand, Nelson Mandela, and Mother Teresa. The message I got was, compassion is not a weakness, but a sign of strength. Now, a couple of things to work upon for this presentation. I would have loved to see a few more gestures, especially when you invite the audience. It gives them a little bit of a cue, because sometimes our consciousness can't keep up with our subconsciousness. I notice sometimes your eyes drift away. That's normal for a long speech. And one idea, it's a bit extreme, but I think it might be helpful. Look at a TED Talk on video and see how they manage to do their speeches. They obviously can't carry cue cards, so they have to memorize specific points and then present their speeches. And finally, consider changing the pitch and the tone to emphasize particular points. That will also keep your audience's attention focused on you. Those were just little nitpicky stuff. And if I have to pick on nitpicky stuff, that means this was a pretty good speech. So let's see what I can advise on challenges. I mentioned the TED Talks as a way to improve on doing a speech to present professionally. And I also mentioned about your topic about compassion as not as a weakness, but as a strength. But overall, I think just this was a magnificent speech. I loved how you presented it, organized it, and how it resonated with the audience. This was an awesome job. Thank you so very much for speaking to us today. And I hope I get to hear some more of these professional quality type speeches. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Ray, for that encouraging and motivational evaluation for our educational speaker, for our leadership speaker. I really liked in particular what you did when you were giving her recommendations, because they were practical. The steps you gave her were very practical and actionable, things that she can actually take away. And it was a helpful evaluation as well, highly encouraging. And I liked how you were able to summarize it briefly, brief summary. It was very analytical and logical. I liked how you arranged all of the all of her strengths and what she did really well. And then you moved on to the recommendations, which again, I said was really practical. And then you briefly summarized it and encouraged her to come back again. So thank you so much. And it was actually quite sympathetic in the sense that you recognized the fact that she was moving her eyes around, even though, and that's because it was a longer speech. So you showed empathy and compassion. So thank you for that, Ray. Quickly moving on to the evaluator for our first speaker, I'll be calling on Barbara Jarvis, who will be evaluating Jennifer Ghosh. Barbara, you have the lectern, the virtual lectern.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator. Special thank you to Toastmaster Jennifer Ghosh. Your speech, Mystic Powers. You displayed great vocal variety, your eye contact, and you had hand gestures, just like what you asked me to look out for. You did well in those. You had indicated that you had almost gotten killed by a truck, I believe you said, and God save you. You had my undivided attention when you said that. The subconscious mind is really a powerful thing. It can analyze and easily influence things by filtering your awareness. And it really plays a role in shaping a person to recall the past experience and engage in the adaptive behavior. So this is what I believe you. I'm saying what I believe you to because I had some internet issues. I had heard words in and out. So I'm saying what I heard, okay? And this is the adaptive behavior from the subconscious mind. You gave great insight also on your conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And this flows very well with your title of the speech, Mystic Powers. You also made reference to a book. I believe the book was called The Power of Subconscious Mind. And I like that you engaged everyone, encouraged everyone to read it. I will go and look at it myself. There were times when your eyes, you were cross-seeing, kept looking here, kept looking there at times, even though you did have eye contact, some of it were crossed. So that is the only advice or information I would say to you. Look forward to going to your next speech is that just keep a forward view of while you're speaking. Other than that, all in all, you did a wonderful speech. Back over to you, Toastmaster Evaluator, Madam Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you so much for that fairly detailed evaluation on distinguished Toastmaster Jennifer's speech. Moving on quickly, I would be inviting the evaluator for our third speaker, our second speaker, Dinesh Sharma. Our evaluator is Anna Schmidt. Anna?
Good day, Madam General Evaluator, members, and Dinesh. From Team Collaboration Level 4, you were given the task to manage a difficult audience. For this, I would have preferred maybe another title rather than leading in any situation. Just one question: were the 4 interrupters selected by the TMOD and unknown to you? That is a requirement by the project. I'm actually here to evaluate how the speaker managed the disruptors. And I presume the following types of interrupters were present, as I could not quite clearly identify them. The one was a talker. If there was a talker in the audience, he should have dominated the discussion, yet been given a chance by the speaker to contribute to the session. This I have missed as you just continued with your speech. The other one, the chatterer. I didn't hear anybody chattering and interrupting your speech. And as a chatterer should engage with other members. All right, I couldn't have done that like that. but he could have still started chatting, and invite him to the group to share his topic with the group. Or the arguer, who, according to you, should be more knowledgeable about the subject than you? Did you thank him for the contribution and continued with your speech? And another one, the interrupter. Yes, I heard the interrupter. He believed that he had something to constructively contribute. Or did he just simply wanted attention? Some requirements for managing a difficult audience, diffusing the tension that you did. Could you invite the difficult member? I haven't seen that. Or did you acknowledge the arguer? The acknowledgement of the arguer, but you kept talking. You didn't acknowledge him directly, you just kept on talking. Although the evaluator should only concentrate on how you handled the interrupters, I would like to mention a few aspects of your speech as well. You can speak with more vocal variety as a compassionate leader and emphasize the high points of your career. Your slides were a bit too cluttered. I realize how difficult, how different this is. Managing a difficult audience is for an online meeting. Yet they are extremely challenging. Dinesh, you have conquered the mountain ahead of you. Or you have not conquered the mountain ahead of you, but yourself. Congratulations. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Hannah, for that evaluation on Dinesh's speech and his ability to handle the audience. I was hoping to hear more on how he would have handled certain situations better. I was also hoping to hear more about the things he did really well. But all in all, you made it very clear where he could have done better. But thank you so much for that evaluation, Hannah. And quickly, we'll be moving on because of time. We'll be moving on to our next evaluator who gave a quote on compassionate leadership. And he says, there's nobody whose performance did not improve after encouragement. So when you give compassion, when you encourage your followers and your team members through encouragement, you can be guaranteed enhanced performance. Baron Ochola will be evaluating Sandra Valks. Baron, you have the lecture lectern.
Toastmaster Sandra Valks, this will come as no surprise to you that you had a captivating introduction, as you usually do. You jumped into sing and song, then right away, you asked the question, have you ever? And you repeated once again, have you ever? And then you went through the story. When you do that, you captivate us at the beginning, because anybody who was asking themselves, should I listen to Toastmaster Sandra? I listened to her last week. We'll know that you have something fresh to share with us. What else do I think that you did really well on? And I'm going to work in as many points as possible. You had vocal variety, and this vocal variety was not only when you were speaking to us, but also when you engaged in dialogue, your father's voice, your mother's voice, and the conversation with them. And that shone. Then when you were moving through the mud, the schmuck, 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 and I would consider that part of gestures and body language. And jumping to the gestures, oh my God, when you spoke about something tragic and you had this, we could feel it. We could feel it. The key point here today is the storyline. And yes, you had a storyline that involved yourself, your family, your mother, your your father and how you related with each other. And that was a wonderful storyline. What do I think we might do better to improve the presentation? The first thing I would say is still to the point I just mentioned, which is the storyline. I find that in your speech, while the title was, "It's all about me," yes, it's all about me, the storyline was dominated by a story of your mother and who she was and those mannerisms that she had, rather than yours. So we were contrasting and comparing, but we got more of her than we got of you. And the next is about the speech title. I did not hear it happen a lot in the speech. If you could have repeated it again, made it like a mantra, we would have gone out with the remembrance of, oh, this is what this was about. All in all, we got to know a lot about the storyline, which I wouldn't prefer to repeat the story since we had it, but we got to know who you were. I believe we could have gotten a better glimpse of you if you had focused on yourself other than your mother. Wonderful story, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Byron. That was a very clear and accurate evaluation for Sandra Valks. Thank you so much for that. All in all, it had a very positive tone to it, highly encouraging, like most of the evaluators today. Most of the evaluators have been incredibly compassionate with their evaluations, making, I'm sure, the speakers wanting to come back to do even better. Yes, thank you for that, Byron. And finally, oh no, not finally, we're moving on to the next evaluator who evaluated Nthati Mokhantso. Our next evaluator says that compassionate leadership emphasizes on relationship, genuine care, and connection. And that is why he's all for compassionate leadership. Please let's welcome John Ojeifo. You have the virtual lectern.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and especially Nthati Mokhantso. Disaster management is everyone's business. Are you joining in? What an engaging vision speech from an affable Toastmaster. Thank you for sharing some aspects of your vision with us. That was well-structured and well-delivered speech. I noticed several areas where you excelled. What stood out to me most during your presentation were your effective Zoom presence, vocal variety, hand gestures, and the excellent link between your speech and the quality content. Based on our conversations before this meeting, I noticed that these were areas where you asked me to focus on. I can really tell that you had actually worked on all these areas. Congratulations. First, I'd like to start with the speech content, which was very, very engaging, and I love it very much. I will start with the candle in the wind metaphor of your speech title, which to me denoted fragility and vulnerability, which actually grabbed my attention right from the beginning, creating an expectation, and I was looking forward to what was coming next. And bravo, what came next was that wind that almost blew me away of how you define what that candle in the wind stands for. It stands all the various things that it stood for, and all that it went to captivate in your vision, the resilience, the inclusiveness, and the service-oriented statement that you made, that you provided. I also liked many things in which the way in which you presented your speech, the organization, the anecdote, the examples you provided, all helped to reinforce the message. And the message was very clear to me, direct, logical, and well presented. One of the areas you asked me to look at was to look at your Zoom presence, while you had great conversation and attention, there was one area that I thought you might want to consider to work on, which is the use of your stage. I know that Zoom, you are sitting down, so probably some other time to be able to use better use of your stage would be to stand up and to move from present your speech for one end at the other time. So all in all, I'm very impressed by your speech. I saw a great presentation with all the potential of continuous growth. Use your strength and provide quality content in your next speech. Good content, consider working on your Zoom presence and more personal anecdotes. I look forward to hearing more excellent speeches from you in the near future. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Amazing. That was amazing, Toastmaster John. Thank you so much for that. That was really encouraging. One of the most positive evaluations I've heard in a long while. It was very structured. I loved how you paid attention. You paid so much attention to the speech because you gave a lot of feedback and were very specific with the strengths and the areas where she could work on. You talked about the content and not just the content, but also the structure of the speech. And I'm just amazed at how attentive you were at the speech, and it was a well-rounded evaluation. Thank you so much for that. So much to learn from that particular evaluation. Thank you so much, John. And finally, we'll be moving on to our last evaluator, Paramjit, who is going to be evaluating Vinod. And Paramjit says that compassionate leadership is the need of the hour because navigating through these times of uncertainty, and it will help foster unity and resilience. Let's welcome Paramjit to give his feedback on Vinod's speech.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Ejura. Toastmaster Vinod, I humbly thank you for sharing your learning while the barbers were performing his art on your hair. I'm really humbled more because I don't have a privilege to go to the barber, and I would have left this world without the learnings you have shared with us. I would really might have missed those learnings, and I will never get a chance to have these learnings because I don't go to the barber. Number one, power of now, be prepared, paying attention, and power of staying calm. And using them, the laughter, wow, wonderful. That was really a great concoction of how laughter and learnings. I was thinking of having firecrackers in your speech, but you have kept the bombs of laughter in your speech. And engaging humor with meticulously pinching the salt in your speech is a great challenge. And you have mastered this skill and demonstrated the same with your presentation today. You were very natural, very confident, and kept us engaged from the very beginning when you entered in the barber shop. And he asked, what can I do for you? You asked me for the looking up for the body language and ability to make audience laugh. All your gestures and body movements were apt and synchronized with the words, spoken words. And they were the best when you shown the massage as well as when you mix the bowl. Of course, I would have jumped out of the seat when he put a wax on my hair. I would have jumped out of my chair. That could have been an exaggeration. For the stick, you said the stick, this could have been, okay, there was a big stick, he had it like this. So these are few exaggeration which you could have added. And for your engagement with the audience, I don't want to comment on this. Just go and watch your speech on YouTube again, and you can see how everyone was having their genuine smiles and laughters. That's testimony for you. Overall, it was a speech not to be forgotten for a long time. Keeping your natural talent along with your body language and vocal variety, adding more exaggeration, it will make your speech to next level. And I feel that will make even a statue to laugh. And for the last request, please share contact of the barber so others can also go to him and can learn the life learning and share here, because I am not able to go there. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Paramjit. Humor for humor. A humorous evaluation for a humorous speech. Thank you so much for that. I like how detailed your record, not how you were also demonstrating what you were recommending for Toastmaster Vinod. That was a well-rounded evaluation. Thank you so much to all of the evaluators. You exemplified compassionate leadership today. So next we'll be asking the timer to put the time in for all of the evaluators, the recorded time that all of the evaluators used for their evaluations. Thank you so much. And if we could all please vote for the best effort evaluator. We have the poll up, and if we could just vote for the best evaluator for the evening, for today's meeting. This will be a rather tough one. Okay. So I'll be giving my evaluations reports now. So we started off right on time. Okay, we have the results and congratulations. We have the results. Thank you so much for that, Zoom Master. I'll be moving on to my general report. The meeting started right on time. I want to appreciate the SAA for today's meeting, and it was a swift movement between all of the segments of the meetings. I would simply suggest that from the very beginning, the Toastmaster of the day, be mindful. Toastmaster of the day, you were incredible. Well done for taking us through this meeting. I'm sure you've already received your evaluation from Toastmaster Mrinal. Thank you, Toastmaster Mrinal, for that evaluation, because you were able to capture the mood and the essence of the Toastmaster of the day. We felt her warmth all through the time of the meeting, and you gave her a very good commendation because she did really well in terms of navigating us through the meetings. And this is going to be a little bit confusing, but she was careful with the time, but at the same time, at the beginning of the meeting, I would suggest that you be more mindful, especially when at the beginning of the meeting, when you're giving your opening remarks. A bit of time, I was watching the time, a bit of time when we went over time when you were doing that. But then I noticed that you were very conscious of time, especially when you were introducing the speakers, and you were swift, and we are able to get us through to the end of the meeting. Well, at least towards the end of the meeting right now. But the timing should be a lot more managed. As Toastmaster of the day, we need to be very conscious of time. However, having said that, we cannot control what sometimes the speakers go overboard, but we try to manage as best as we can. And I think you did that really, really well. So well done, Toastmaster of the day. All of the speakers were incredible. I enjoyed all of the speeches. I'm grateful for the opportunity to listen to your speeches. You kept to the speech objectives. And again, I said that the evaluators exemplified compassionate leadership. This is one of the meetings where the theme of the meeting was heavy. For me, it was heavily felt all through the entirety of the meeting. I felt the compassionate leadership, a topic which I think is very important in today's time, especially as we have from the educational speaker, we talked about how people are disconnecting. People are being disconnected every day. And then compassionate leadership is so apt and timely in this day we're living in. So thank you to all of our speakers and thank you to all of our evaluators. You are able to use the CRC method, which is still very important, even for an advanced club, because the idea is for us to keep getting better. Thank you so much for your skills, your competencies in evaluating the speakers. And now I will be moving on. I'll be handing over the virtual lectern to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Very well done to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ejura, for effectively conducting the evaluation session. So now, without wasting any more time, let me call upon the grammarian of the day to present her report.
Thank you very much, TMOD. And today, the word of the day was used 4 times, and TMOD used the highest. I encourage members, speakers, to try and use the word of the day. There were several key takeaways, like compassion leads to trust, and also you are being encouraged to read the book of Unconscious Mind, which was a very good thing. And also the other takeaway was the situation leadership, which again, I picked that one. And a very nice quote. So there are several quotes, but because of time, let me read one from Nelson Mandela that is about, I challenged the idea of democratic leadership, which was a very good quote. And also about disaster. We learned that disaster is a paradigm. So it's good for us to be prepared. And also the risk assessment, again, it came out strongly, and then beacon of resilience. And the power of staying calm. We also got that one. It came out very well. And also to pay attention and be in the moment, which was it was very fitting. And something else that I will, the new perspective, which again, it's good for us to be careful and also to get to note on the new perspectives which are coming up for us to be able to adjust. Thank you. Back to you, TMOD.
Thank you so much, Lydia, for that crisp and clear report. Now it's time to quickly move on to the thought of the day. And to present the thought, we have Toastmaster Nokawe. Nokawe says that compassionate leadership is all about treating others as you want to be treated. So let's invite Toastmaster Nokawe to present thought of the day.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As I reflect on today's meeting and the theme of today, I'm asking myself as to if compassion was only a blanket or a jacket, how many of us would be warmer? As you've just mentioned, compassionate leadership is about treating others the way you would want to be treated. As for today's meeting, a take-home message would be that you cannot be kind to other people if you cannot be kind to yourself first, which means compassion starts with self. Leaders, as we are about to go to our different lives, let's forget to become compassionate first to ourselves so that we can be able to reflect it to other people. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nokawe. So now it's time to celebrate the winners of today's meeting. So the best speaker, the best efforted speaker of the day is none other than Toastmaster Vinod Panicker. And the best evaluator is Toastmaster John Ojeifo. Congratulations to Toastmaster Vinod and Toastmaster John. So ladies and gentlemen, we are now here towards the end of our meeting. It was a great meeting. And to conclude about the theme, communication is all about building trust with every person you work with. No matter whether personal sympathies exist or not, you should let people know people you work with, let them know that you are always there for them and you are open to discussion and ready to give them advice and listen to whoever needs it. So with that, thank you everyone. And I would like to give it back to our founder, distinguished Toastmaster Brahm Memon, to close the meeting. Over to you, DTM Brahm.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, Aswathy Rajan. Soon to be distinguished Toastmaster, for ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who didn't know that, Aswathy is going to earn her DTM very soon. We're just waiting for the letter from Toastmasters International to confirm that. So she will be a distinguished Toastmaster very soon. Thank you so much for conducting this meeting. Great theme, compassionate leadership. So you chose the theme very well with the education speaker, Youselee Joseph. You guys really carried the meeting through very well with the compassionate leadership theme. It was explained well at the beginning. Youselee had it very well said in her speech as well. And the Toastmaster, the raising the toast, past district governor, distinguished Toastmaster Tony Breshett, used it very effectively. And it was present throughout the meeting. Dinesh mentioned it. There were so many conversations in the chat. I think compassionate leadership is very, very important. And Youselee actually mentioned that it is not a luxury. It is love and compassion are very necessary in life, quoting Dalai Lama. And I follow the Dalai Lama very much. I love his philosophy about compassion. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope you learned a lot from today. Nokabe, thank you for the thought of the day to close it off, and the Toastmaster of the day as well to close off our theme, compassionate leadership. Let us all practice it every day in whatever we do. How it shows up is how we are serving each other in this club, how we are connected with each other, how strong a community we are growing, and how we are effectively being in our own mentor groups. It shows up there, how you use compassion and empathy. Thank you very much, everyone. This meeting is now adjourned for today. Thank you all. But before you all leave, I would like to speak to the guests.